Hi, I'm Lindsay Grice, and I wear many hats. I have many roles in the horse industry. One of them is a horse show judge. I judge several disciplines. So, what I do in a workday will vary between the disciplines, and I judge under the umbrella of several different horse associations. And under each horse association and between each class, the rules will really vary. So before the horse show, before the workday, I have to study. I have to familiarize myself with the rules, the class procedures, the penalties, the permitted tack. Depending on the discipline, before the show, I may also send patterns or courses. If I'm judging for an association like AQHA, I may have 10 to 15 courses that I have to send. So on the actual day, if I'm judging individual performance classes such as hunter or reining or dressage, I will need to put my score on the score sheet and give them a numeric score, which would include penalties, maneuver scores. If it's group classes, I will have to sort the group and quickly put the group in order and then give that placings card to the ring steward or walkie-talkie, maybe to the announcer, directly to the announcer. I work with a team. A team would include the show manager, ring steward or a scribe, volunteers for the horse show, the announcer, and the course designer. So I do my part to make their show successful. In the big picture, I represent the association that I'm working for. So their mission statement and their values. The traits that are required to do the job of a judge, I would say primarily is experience as an exhibitor. As an exhibitor, you just know the way that shows work. There are unwritten rules and procedures, there's traditions that it's just best to abide by. A judge has to have a good eye to be able to recognize quality, excellent movement and performance and style, but also average and less than quality, those subtle resistances or even subtle lamenesses. So having a good eye is important. As a judge, a system of maintaining your bookwork is really important. You have to be able to justify your placings to any inquirers and provide a paper trail. A judge has to be decisive. You have to make decisions quickly under time constraints. And I think a good judge is encouraging and positive as well. Lots of pressure at a horse show. The show staff is under pressure to keep that show moving. Competitors are under pressure. They're nervous. And a judge can really just diffuse things and make people feel just encouraged and less stress. And I think a judge who is demanding or intimidating or even impatient just adds to everybody's stress. I think another positive trait for a judge is empathy. Having empathy for riders. I sure do. I know what it's like to win and to lose. I know what it's like to blow a class when you thought you were going to win it, and you have to ride through the rest of that class with grace. I know what it's like to go off course. I know how early you have to get up in the morning and preparing in the heat or the freezing cold. So just having an empathy for riders, they're not just a number. Those are the traits I think are useful for a judge. The challenges of being a judge is making decisions quickly. Having to sort through a group of moving horses, and you just can't keep those horses loping and cantering around lap after lap. You need to make a decision. And if you're scoring individual performance classes, a judge needs to have that score on the sheet and put the score in the running total before that next horse comes in the ring. So there's some time pressure. I find it a challenge to shift between scoring systems because I do judge so many different disciplines, and they each have their own set of rules and permitted tack. For instance, a bit that might be permitted in AQHA might not be permitted in dressage, or an elimination or maybe a penalty in Western riding might not be the same in ranch riding. So you really do have to know your rules. And then finally, I would say the hours of strict concentration. You have to give the same amount of concentration to the 15th competitor as you do to the first. When I was training and competing full time, becoming a horse show judge just wasn't a priority to me. I didn't know that I'd be able to do it really well. It seemed a lot of pressure to me, and also I just didn't have the time when you're hauling down the road and training full time. But when I went to my freelance model of driving and teaching riders at barns and also giving clinics, judging seemed like a really good fit. For anyone interested in getting involved in judging, I would say you really have to have had success as an exhibitor. You really have to have a resume of what you've done in the show ring, or at least as a competitive coach when you apply to become a judge. Um, as I said, many judges, not all of them, do become judges in the latter years of their horse career. I think it's a little easier on the body than training full time and hauling down the road. Um, Part of the process is seminars, attending judging seminars, and also testing. And then you have to maintain your accreditation by updating. And because I do judge across different disciplines, I have a lot of updating to do. So it really keeps me on my toes. I'm always studying. I think I would also say, like most professions, apprentice with the best you can in the business. I still will ask questions of those who are experts in their field and those who are smarter than me and have been at it longer than me. I'm always learning, and I think it's really important to keep learning. As a judge, I find it really satisfying because I'm also someone who teaches and coaches and speaks about equitation science, the science of how horses think and learn. I get a front row seat as a judge to horse and human interactions. And so I see really excellent examples of training. But then I also see how we are stuck in our traditions that don't have evidence based. Don't make evidence-based sense too. So it's really good. I love watching horses. I love watching riders, and that's just a really good fit for me. I love to. I find it satisfying to make a difference in the larger horse industry. As judges, we can help phase out unhealthy trends in the horse industry by just not rewarding them. And on a smaller scale, I love encouraging novice exhibitors. As I said, I remember being that novice exhibitor. I remember entering my first shows really not knowing what was being judged and not knowing the tack that I should use, and going off course a lot. And so I love to encourage those riders. I think it's good for the industry. And that's my way of giving back to an industry that's been very good to me. So I hope that whatever path you choose in the horse industry, um, you will have success in that. Thank you.